Ukrainians in the occupied territories are facing an increasing pressure campaign to become Russian citizens. That's according to a new report by researchers at Yale University. It says pressure tactics include threats of detention or deportation for people who say no. They could also be denied medical care, child benefits, and even access to the power grid. Researchers say one of Russia's goals is to erase the Ukrainian national identity and the idea of Ukraine as a sovereign state. Joining me now from New Haven, Connecticut, Nathaniel Raymond is Executive Director of Humanitarian Research Lab at the Yale School of Public Health. It's good to see you, sir. Thanks so much. Yale describes what's happening as a, quote, systemic push to make it impossible for residents to survive in their homes, unless they accept Russian passports. How is this forced citizenship playing out?
Well, it's playing out in real time, Michael, for families, for public employees, for children in Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, so areas that are now under Russia's control. The situation is that last year, around May 2022, Russia passed a decree signed by Vladimir Putin that basically set a deadline of next July for all Ukrainians living in Russia-occupied areas to move to Russian citizenship, basically a Russian passport. And those that don't accept Russian citizenship could be deported into Russia, could be detained, and are already being denied benefits such as health care, family benefits, pensions.
And what does that mean? I mean, we hear a lot about soldiers, the front lines and so on, but these are ordinary civilians. How is this impacting the daily lives of these Ukrainian citizens and their families? As I said, ordinary people.
Well, it affects them in very real ways, Michael. They can't register for electricity. They can't access humanitarian aid in conflict-affected areas. They don't have rights to property. And if a child is born and the parent does not accept Russian citizenship, they don't have maternal and family benefits in the first few months or years of that child's life. And then children that after July of next year will be forced to accept Russian passports when born in these areas. So this will effectively leave tens of thousands of people stateless if they don't submit.
And you mentioned the kids, because quite apart from the forced citizenship issue, speak to the issue of forced deportation of Ukrainian children. Essentially, let's call it what it is, kidnapping them. Estimates vary. It's certainly thousands of kids. The Russian Presidential Commissioner for quote-unquote children's rights say 700,000 Ukrainian children have been taken to Russia. How serious is that issue?
It is as serious as you can get, Michael. It constitutes a war crime, is a violation of the Geneva Convention for both the interconnected but distinct crimes of forced transfer and forced deportation. It can also constitute a crime against humanity. And like the passportization issue, both of these issues are subcomponent acts of genocide.
So what, the thing that gets me is what's likely to happen to these children even after the war? I mean, it's difficult to imagine the psychological damage that is being done even as we speak.
I have been involved in efforts to reunite children in the case of Guatemala decades after they were separated from their parents. And I've been working on the children's issue here in Ukraine for the past more than a year. And the issue is these are impacts from Russia's actions that will echo for generations, Michael. And we are looking at a situation where if these children go home, it will require probably DNA testing and years of investigation and litigation. I've seen it in Guatemala, I've seen it in Africa, and unfortunately, we're about to see it in Ukraine.
It's just awful. The International Criminal Court has, of course, issued arrest warrants over the issue of child deportation. If these are indeed war crimes, and if so, how likely is it that anyone will ultimately be held to account? I mean, what needs to happen?
Well, the first step is Russia needs to follow the law underneath the Geneva Convention, Michael, and the law is basically a user's manual to what Russia should have done in this scenario. The first step that's required by the amended protocols of the Geneva Convention is for them to register the children. The second step is to move them to a third-party country, which they did not do. The third and fourth step is to let them call home and to let Red Cross and UN monitors access the camps. None of that's happening. In our report, which preceded by 1 month the indictments by the International Criminal Court, we identified that over at least 6,000 children had been sent to re-education camps, and over 43 facilities were housing children. The next 2 weeks, we're going to release a follow-up to that report and also reporting on the situation for children in Belarus.
Yeah, and you know, it's being described by some, the Parliamentary Assembly, the Council of Europe calls it perhaps genocidal. Nathaniel Raymond, got to leave it there, unfortunately. Really appreciate you making the time. It's a hugely important issue.